Are you tuning in to your body's signals? That's what we're going to talk about today. How to start tuning in to your body's signals. Because our body does speak to us. Okay? For those who don't know me, my name is Sharon Fant, and I'm a registered nurse, and I've been working in healthcare in the medical field for over 38 years. And I'm also the founder of the Holistic Healing Circle, and it is through the circle that we learn to heal and where healing happens, okay? Now, your body is always speaking. Your body is always speaking. How many of you know that? That your body is always speaking. And the question is, are you listening? Are you listening to your body? You know, we've been conditioned to tune out our bodies. We've been conditioned to ignore hunger signals. We've been conditioned to numb pain. We've been conditioned to push past our exhaustion. But healing begins when we start tuning into our bodies and noticing those small, subtle messages that are going on before they become loud messages, okay? So one of the things I want to talk about today is some things that you can do to start practicing tuning into your body, start practicing listening to your body. So there are many, many ways to start listening to your body, but this morning, for sake of time, we're going to just talk about 3 things that you could do to start practicing tuning in to your body, okay? So the first one is to pause before eating. You know, a lot of times we're hungry, or we think we're hungry, and we're rushing in and we're eating our food, you know, just fast, right? But what I want to recommend that you do before eating is to kind of pause a little bit before eating and kind of ask yourself, what am I really hungry for? You know, we got food on the table, we got food to eat, but is this food what we're really hungering for? So just kind of pause before you eat and ask the question, okay? Then the second thing that we can start doing to practice tuning into our body is to notice tension. You know, we're living lives. We got stress in our life, things happening to us, happening in our families, happening in our relationships, happening at work. There are things that are going on all the time, right? So you want to notice tension when it happens in your body. And this tension could be something that's a stored emotion. It could be something emotionally stored when you feel this tension. This tension could be anger, or the tension that you're feeling could be sadness or disappointment or something like that, right? So you want to notice tension when it gets in your body, okay? And then the third thing that we don't want to talk about today is to feel fatigue. You want to feel the fatigue. And you want to look to see if, you know, when you're tired, when you're fatigued, worn out, however you want to say it, when you have that kind of feeling, you want to look at it and see, you know, is this physical? Is this fatigue physical? Or is it emotional? Or is it energetic? You want to look at those things. So you want to pause before you eat, notice tension, and then feel your fatigue. So those are 3 things that can get you started into having a practice of tuning into your body. Okay. And the more we pay attention, then the more our body will reveal to us. Okay. So we will be developing like a sacred language, if you will, that can lead us back into balance of our bodies. Okay. Let me tell you a little short story about me. Some of you know that I was a visiting nurse. I was a visiting nurse for 18 plus years. I visited people in their homes. I had home health patients that I went to their homes to see them. And so years ago, in this career for home health, I worked long hours. I worked from sun up to sundown. And the reason I did that was because at the time, I was a contract nurse, and so I got paid based on, how many patients I saw. So because I got paid on how many patients I saw a lot of patients. So I was making six figures a year because I worked hard. I saw many patients. Like I said, sun up to sundown, I was working. And if you were looking at me from the outside looking in, you would say that I was a workaholic, right? I got to the point that, because I was this workaholic and getting it in and making money and all of that, I got tired and fatigued, okay? But I did not rest. Like I had a goal. I had things I had to do. So I did not rest during this time frame of my career. And then one morning when I woke up, I could not move. You hear me? I could not move. I woke up and it was like my body was frozen. I could not get out of the bed. Okay. And it was kind of, I was anxious. I was afraid. I'm like, what is going on? I had to go to work. It was one of those work days. It wasn't a weekend, right? And I'm like, what is happening to me? And I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't, I could barely move my arms. I was like stationary and stuck in bed. It was a weird feeling, okay? And I didn't call 911 or anything like that. It was a weird feeling. And so what my body was saying, I'm tired. I am not going to work today. That's what my body was saying. And it really said it loud, okay? I didn't have any pain. I didn't have any other discomforts. I just couldn't move. Okay, literally, I was stuck to the bed. That's what it felt like. So I decided that my body was trying to tell me something. Yeah, even back then, my intuition said, your body's trying to tell you something and you need to listen. So I called my office. I called the work office and say, hey, I can't come in to work today. I don't know what's going on. I will have to talk to you later about it. But what I did was I stayed in bed. For hours, I just stayed in bed. And I guess my body rested because by the end of the day, I was able to get out of the bed. Okay. So I rested in bed maybe like 5 hours, 6 hours or something like that. And then soon, I was able to get out of bed. But I would tell you that my body was telling me, you were not listening to me this whole time. I kept saying I'm tired. I kept saying I'm fatigued, and I'm going to show you. Okay, so that's the only thing I can think of that my body was saying. You are going to rest today, okay? If you're not going to rest any other day, I've been giving you signals. I've been, telling you it's time to rest, and you didn't do it. We're staying home today. So that's what my body was telling me. Now, I don't know if any of you have had experiences like that where your body just like, I'm not going any further. Well, I had to learn how to start listening to the signals that my body was giving me, because my body and your body is wise. Okay, our body is wise. And so when you slow down and you listen, then healing begins to unfold. And it unfolds naturally. Okay, so what is your body asking you to do today? What is your body asking you to do today? Are you listening? You want to honor what it is that your body is trying to tell you, because that's where the medicine lives. The medicine for healing lives in us signaling, listening to the signals and tuning in to what our body is trying to tell us. So can you start doing that today? Or will you start doing that today? Will you start slowing down and listening to your body? Or will you just start a practice of listening to your body? For those who maybe you were like me, you were like fast paced, got to hustle, got to get this done. Start practicing slowing down. Start practicing tuning in to your body. Okay? Well, that's all I have today. Okay? We will see you the next time.